in which our protagonists, Anna and Levine, finally meet, and in which one of their tales comes to an end. Chapter 8. Leaving the table, feeling his arm swinging with a special rightness and ease as he went, Levine walked with Goggin through the high-ceilinged rooms towards the billiard room. Going through the main hall, he ran into his father-in-law. "Well, so? How do you like our Temple of Idleness?" the prince said, taking him under the arm. "Come, let's take a stroll." "I also wanted to have a look around. It's interesting." "Yes, for you it's interesting, but my interest is different from yours. You look at these little old men," he said, indicating a club member with a bent back and a hanging lower lip who walked towards and then past them, barely moving his feet in their soft boots. "And you think they were born such sloshers." "Why sloshers?" "So you don't even know the word. It's our club term. You know, when you're rolling hard-boiled eggs, an egg that's been rolled a lot gets all cracked and turns into a slosher. It's the same with our kind. We keep coming and coming to the club and turn into sloshers. Yes, you may laugh, but our kind have to watch out that we don't wind up with the sloshers." "You know Prince Chichensky?" asked the prince, and Levine could see from his look that he was going to tell some funny story. "No, I don't." "Well, really, I mean the famous Prince Chichensky. Well, it makes no difference. He's always playing billiards. Some 3 years ago he was still a fine fellow and not one of the sloshers. He even called other men sloshers, only one day he comes in our porter. You know Vasily? Well, that fat one. He's a great wit. So Prince Chichensky asks him, 'Well, Vasily, who's here? Any sloshers?' And he says to him, 'You're the third.' 'Yes, brother, so it goes.'" Talking and greeting the acquaintances they met, Levine and the prince passed through all the rooms. The main one, where card tables were already set up and habitual partners were playing for small stakes. The sitting room, where people were playing chess and Sergei Ivanovich sat talking with someone. The billiard room, where, around the sofa in the curve of the room, a merry company, which included Goggin, had gathered with champagne. They also looked into the inferno, where many gamblers crowded around a single table at which Yashvin was already sitting. Trying not to make any noise, they went into the dim reading room, where, under shaded lamps, a young man with an angry face sat flipping through one magazine after another, and a bald-headed general was immersed in reading. They also went into a room which the prince called the clever room. In this room 3 gentlemen were hotly discussing the latest political news. "If you please, Prince," one of his partners said, finding him there, and the prince left. Levine sat and listened for a while, but recalling the conversations of that day, he suddenly felt terribly bored. He got up quickly and went to look for Oblonsky and Turovtsin, with whom he felt merry. Turovtsin was sitting with a tankard of drink on a high-backed sofa in the billiard room, and Stepan Arkadyevich was talking about something with Vronsky by the doorway in the far corner of the room. "It's not that she's bored, it's the uncertainty, the undecidedness of the situation," Levine heard, and was about to retreat hastily, but Stepan Arkadyevich called to him. "Levine, said Stepan Arkadyevich, and Levin noticed that his eyes, though not tearful, were moist, as always happened with him when he was drinking or very moved. This time it was both. Levin, don't go, he said, and held him tightly by the elbow, obviously not wishing him to leave for anything. This is my truest, maybe even my best friend, he said to Vronsky. You, too, are even nearer and dearer to me, and I want you to be, and know that you should be close friends, because you're both good people. Well, all that's left for us is to kiss, Vronsky said with good-natured humor, giving him his hand. Levin quickly took the proffered hand and pressed it firmly. I'm very, very glad, he said. Waiter, a bottle of champagne, said Stepan Arkadyevich. I am very glad, too, said Vronsky. But despite Stepan Arkadyevich's wishes and their own wishes, they had nothing to talk about, and they both felt it. You know, he's not acquainted with Anna, Stepan Arkadyevich said to Vronsky, and I absolutely want to take him to her. Let's go, Levin. Really, said Vronsky. She'll be very glad. I'd go home now, he added, but I'm worried about Yashvin and want to stay till he's finished. What, is it bad? He keeps losing, and I'm the only one who can hold him back. How about a little game of pyramids? Levin, will you play? Well, splendid, said Stepan Arkadyevich. Set it up for pyramids. He turned to the marker. It's been ready for a long time, replied the marker, who had set the balls into a triangle long ago and was knocking the red one around to amuse himself. Let's begin. After the game, Vronsky and Levin joined Gagin's table, and Levin, at Stepan Arkadyevich's suggestion, began betting on aces. Vronsky first sat by the table, surrounded by acquaintances who were constantly coming up to him, then went to the Inferno to visit Yashvin. Levin experienced a pleasant rest from the mental fatigue of the morning. He was glad at the cessation of hostilities with Vronsky, and the feeling of peacefulness, propriety, and contentment never left him. When the game was over, Stepan Arkadyevich took Levin under the arm. Well, shall we go to Anna? Now, eh? She's at home. I've long been promising to bring you. Where were you going to spend the evening? Nowhere in particular. I promised Vyazhki I'd go to the Agricultural Society. But all right, let's go, said Levin. Excellent, off we go. Find out if my carriage has arrived. Stepan Arkadyevich turned to a footman. Levin went to the table, paid the 40 rubles he had lost betting on aces, paid his club expenses, known in some mysterious way to the little old footman who stood by the door, and with a special swing of the arms walked through all the rooms to the exit. If you enjoy this format, please leave a like and subscribe and return tomorrow for the next chapter.